How do smart, capable people end up in cults? It's not about intelligence or weakness, it's about manipulation. Cult leaders are masters of influence, using psychological techniques to bypass critical thinking. They create environments where followers slowly surrender autonomy disguised as personal growth. The process starts when people are vulnerable, after a breakup, a move, or a crisis. Recruiters spot this and offer community, purpose, and answers. They build trust, making you feel seen and understood. This is the foundation of mind control covert conversational hypnosis. It works by overloading the mind and appealing to deep emotional needs. The leader's ideas become the only truth. Outsiders are painted as misguided, and an us versus them mentality forms. Isolation from family and friends increases dependency on the group. Anyone can be susceptible under the right circumstances. We all crave belonging and meaning. Cult leaders exploit these desires, promising happiness or salvation. They create the illusion of choice, but real independence is eroded, one suggestion at a time. Understanding these methods is the first step to protecting ourselves. The gradual erosion of freedom is masked as enlightenment. The techniques are subtle, but the effects are profound. The promise of a shortcut to happiness is a powerful lure. True autonomy is lost, replaced by dependency on the group. Recognizing these tactics is crucial for self-defense. Cult leaders alter consciousness to gain control, inducing trance-like states without followers realizing it. Techniques like chanting, meditation, singing, and long lectures heighten suggestibility and quiet critical thinking. The environment is managed to overload the senses and prevent private reflection. Sleep deprivation is common. Exhaustion lowers defenses and makes questioning authority difficult. Demanding schedules and little rest make minds pliable. Dietary restrictions, like low-protein diets, cause brain fog and emotional instability, increasing dependency. Information overload bombards followers with jargon and doctrine, overwhelming logic and encouraging passive acceptance. Followers rely on leaders to interpret complex teachings, shutting down independent thought. These activities are framed as spiritual growth, but actually increase suggestibility. The BITE model's behavior control shows how managing time, environment, sleep, and food lays the groundwork for mind control. Every aspect of daily life is controlled, leaving no room for dissent. The trance state becomes the norm, not the exception. Followers believe they're growing, but autonomy is slipping away. The group's reality replaces personal reality. The process is gradual but relentless. Control over behavior is the first step to controlling the mind. Recognizing these signs is key to resisting manipulation. Once followers are suggestible, language becomes a tool for control. Cults use loaded language, specialized jargon that makes their ideology seem profound and exclusive. This vocabulary creates barriers with outsiders and limits communication. Information is tightly controlled and compartmentalized. Leaders decide who learns what and when. New members get a simplified version of beliefs, with controversial doctrines revealed only after deeper investment. Thought-stopping cliches like "trust the process" or "don't think with your head" shut down doubts and critical thinking. Members learn to police their own thoughts, dismissing anything that contradicts the group. Outside information is labeled as dangerous or evil, and members are discouraged from engaging with it. The group's narrative becomes the only reality. By controlling language and information, leaders construct a closed system where their authority is absolute. Followers lose the ability to question or compare perspectives. The group's logic becomes self-reinforcing. Dissent is not just discouraged, it's unthinkable. The result is a bubble where only the cult's truth exists. Breaking this control starts with recognizing the manipulation of language and information. Cult leaders often use advanced techniques like neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, to shape thoughts and emotions. Anchoring pairs a stimulus, like a touch, with a strong emotion, so the leader can trigger loyalty or joy on command. Embedded commands are hidden instructions within sentences, planting suggestions in the subconscious. Future pacing guides followers to imagine a better future only possible within the group, tying hopes and dreams to the cult. These methods install the group's beliefs as the follower's own, making independent thought difficult. The BITE model's thought control shows how black and white thinking and discouraging questions reinforce dependency. NLP tactics create automatic emotional responses and direct thoughts toward the group's agenda. Followers are taught to distrust their own minds and rely solely on the group. The control becomes internalized. Members police themselves. The leader's influence is embedded deep within the follower's psyche. Thought control is subtle but powerful. Awareness of these tactics is the first step to reclaiming autonomy. Emotional manipulation is the most powerful pillar of mind control. Cult leaders use guilt and fear to keep followers compliant. Problems are blamed on lack of dedication, creating constant inadequacy. Fear of punishment, shunning, or disaster keeps members in line. Leaders invent external enemies to foster paranoia and dependence. Positive emotions are manipulated through love bombing. New recruits are showered with affection and praise. This love is conditional. Questioning or dissent leads to withdrawal and criticism. The cycle of acceptance and rejection creates a traumatic bond, making followers addicted to approval and terrified of rejection. Self-esteem becomes entirely dependent on the group. The BITE model's emotional control explains how guilt, fear, and dictated feelings keep members trapped. Emotional highs and lows are used to reinforce loyalty. The group becomes the sole source of love and safety. Breaking free requires recognizing these emotional traps. Real-world cults show these techniques in action. Jim Jones used marathon sermons, fear, and love bombing to exhaust and control Jonestown followers, leading to tragedy. Keith Raniere's NXIVM used hypnotic language, information overload, and NLP to indoctrinate members, anchoring shame and dependency. Scientology employs structured hypnotic processes like auditing, loaded language, and strict information control. Fear of shunning and emotional manipulation keep members compliant. In all cases, leaders isolate members, control behavior, manipulate thoughts, and hold emotions hostage. These are not isolated incidents. They're predictable outcomes of systematic mind control. Understanding these patterns helps us recognize warning signs. The mechanics are always similar: charismatic leaders, gradual indoctrination, and total control. Recognizing these red flags is crucial for prevention. Knowledge is our best defense. Prolonged cult involvement rewires the brain and damages emotional health. Critical thinking is suppressed. Emotion-driven brain regions dominate, leading to chronic stress. A cult identity replaces the authentic self, making former members feel like different people. After leaving, many struggle with anxiety, depression, and difficulty making decisions. Emotional manipulation leaves deep scars. Attachment issues, guilt, and shame are common. Physical health suffers too, with chronic stress causing fatigue and illness. Recovery is about healing mind, body, and spirit, not just rejecting beliefs. Rebuilding self-worth and autonomy takes time and support. Professional help is often essential for full recovery. Resisting cult hypnosis starts with education. Knowing the tactics makes them less effective. Healthy skepticism and critical thinking are vital. Question any group that discourages dissent. For those helping loved ones, avoid confrontation. Focus on rebuilding trust and authentic identity. Encourage independent thinking by asking open-ended questions. Professional therapy, especially with cult recovery specialists, is crucial for healing. Support groups offer understanding and community. Public awareness and better legal protections are needed to prevent coercive control. Teaching critical thinking and open dialogue in families and communities is the best safeguard. Recovery is possible with knowledge, support, and patience. Mind control techniques aren't limited to cults. They appear in abusive relationships, sales, and politics. These methods exploit our need for connection and certainty, breaking down autonomy. The BITE model helps us spot manipulation in action. Education and critical thinking are our best defenses. We must teach media literacy, encourage open dialogue, and demystify mind control. Awareness strips manipulation of its power. The fight against cults is a fight for mental freedom and authentic choice. By supporting victims and fostering strong communities, we make it harder for manipulators to thrive. Let's commit to breaking the spell of cult hypnosis for good.